everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm here with my friend Ani and we're just having some coffee and pretty much just chatting. So, what were we talking about, Ani?
Well, I've never been on your channel. Well, I have, I made a little appearance on your channel.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen my Lavender Festival, go watch that video where Ani makes a cameo appearance.
A cameo. Yeah, it's more of a cameo than anything, but this is my first, official visit.
I just love talking with my friend Ani because we just get into these deep philosophical discussions. And I thought, why not record it for the viewers and you guys can definitely chime in the comments. I personally have been noticing a lot of brands that are coming out that are using, I guess, ideas that are more accessible to everyone, but they're making it more exclusive. I see this happening a lot with food, for example, where you'll find street food, but it's being sold at an upper class or upscale restaurant for a much higher price. So I think food is a great example of how this happens, or at least how I've seen it, but it also happens in fashion. And I think Ani was mentioning that she found some articles about that happening, right?
Well, I think that it's really common for brands or big corporations to capitalize on the working class, which is what I think that we're trying to sort of talk about, or think about at least, not necessarily have any specific stance, but more about just thinking about it. And yeah, it happens in fashion all the time, and it is tied to cultural appropriation, I guess, but class appropriation, which is what we've sort of been naming it, not that we're the ones who named it, but something we're thinking about is how different is class appropriation versus cultural appropriation, and what are the overlapping concepts of both those things.
That's such a great point. I feel like a lot of times these two beasts are conflated, cultural appropriation and class appropriation. And I think what our goal was today was to actually divide those two because they are two separate issues, but they can be intertwined.
Right,
and
a lot
often
of times
they are.
Yeah.
And the example that I brought up was one where there's an Armenian pop singer, her name is Sirusho, and she released a line of Armenian traditional jewelry.
Right, I have a ring from there that my cousin Inga sent me. Shout out to Inga. And then we were talking about how, a lot of times these kinds of products, jewelry or whatever it is, that I'm not really familiar that much with her line.
Well, I mean,
but a lot of
times,
those kinds of things are sold at Vernissage, which is a
street market in Armenia. My issue was just that she is from a certain class, a higher level class, and so I wasn't really sure how I felt about her profiting off of thousands of year-old traditions.
Prigomesh restores ancient Armenian cultural values while creating new ones. We aim to spread the word about the rich Armenian culture to the Armenian youth and to people around the world in general. Which is what I also said was okay, she has a big platform. Obviously, if she's doing it, more people are going to be like, yeah, I want to wear Taras or whatever. Founded by Sirusho, she pays detailed attention to every piece produced, from designing her own samples to giving a modern touch and breadth to ornaments used centuries ago. Conducting a lot of research and working with the best handcraftsmen of Armenia, we try to help Armenians to adhere to their roots and meanwhile be trendy and original. So,
that sounds amazing to me, but I think that, and again, we kind of talked about how none of these things are inherently wrong. I personally feel that culture does need to be exchanged, shared, and appreciated, but also I just wonder, is this ever going to benefit really just working class or the average Armenian who is deeply involved in these traditions?
Right, that's a good point. Yeah, probably not. They're not going to benefit. And I said that that's sort of a historical thing that's always happened, where the rich have taken from the poor. And I'm not saying it's right, I'm just saying it's obviously she's not the first one who's done it.
Yeah.
Not that we're saying that she has done it,
One of the things we were also talking about is how do we remedy these things, and how do we share and engage in different cultures, different class things, and also do it in a way that's right. And I think Ani brought up the point where, for example, if there's a restaurant and they're making something like street food, they can also go ahead and hire from that community, or they can have a fund for that community, or they can somehow be involved in that community. And I was saying that by doing that, it becomes less appropriation, and it becomes more of a partnership between one community and an individual or another community.
Again, this is a class issue because you can't have culture without class. I mean, you can, but you don't have it in this current. And culture is always sort of formed on class levels.
So I think that giving credit is huge, acknowledging the source of that culture or that practice.
I don't think that that's enough. I think they need to get monetary, like, what is that called?
Compensation.
Because you could say, yeah, it was like, again, you have to pay people because that's how we live. Like, you can't just pretend. Like, that's why class differences are so important to think about, because it's like people are profiting off of the lower class and then the lower class still remains the lower class because they're hungry.
For sure, and I feel like there's that element of you can talk is cheap and put your money where your mouth is. I think that's just a general good concept, but I think that you can't really mandate that. But I will also say it's all about intention, and when you have the intention to make amends or actually like partner with a community, you will not only just acknowledge, but you will go further and compensate if the intention is there.
Like Marx said, all human struggle the history of human struggle is just class conflict.
Do you feel like he would agree with us on class appropriation? Would he actually think that this is a real phenomenon and needs to be addressed?
What would Marx say? Yeah, definitely. I mean, he was like very. His whole thing was that like our labor is being exploited, and we're not getting properly paid. Like, basically, the unpaid labor of the working class is what we call profit, essentially.
Okay.
So you can't profit unless you're exploiting someone, and that's usually the working class. And that
Wow, I'm not sure if I agree with that, but that is an interesting perspective.
What don't you agree with that? Like,
I don't think that you have to oppress people to
make money.
To make money, yeah.
Right.
I think you can open a business and make money and not oppress anyone. Is that not like a normal?
Then you won't make a lot of money, so you won't get like rich.
Why? What if people like whatever? Like, for example, I have this coffee, and whatever. Don't look at the label, but
let's look at the label because because it's like, where.
What if
I
buy this, or I start this company and I sell really good coffee, and my coffee is sourced ethically. I mean, I get my coffee, I roast it, whatever you want to call it.
And
it's
you
a
have
family
workers.
business. Yeah, and I have workers,
So
whether
is it
it's
a family?
friends.
Okay.
Yeah, family-run business.
And you're paying them.
And I'm paying them fair wages.
Here's the thing. What Marx was saying was basically that, like, even if you're paying them whatever, if you're paying them $20 an hour, let's say, that means your profit motive is like so much higher that they're still being sort of, in a way, like, scammed. Do you get it?
But
because if a worker got exactly what they were putting out there in terms of value, then the boss wouldn't be able to make money. The only way the boss is able to make money is because he is paying his workers not as much as what the workers are producing, the value they're producing.
But that's a huge assumption to assume that every single boss in a capitalist society is is like underpaying their staff.
They're not
essentially.
underpaying, but they're paying them the value in which they can make a profit. That's the only thing. I mean, yes, it's so seeped into our minds that we're like, okay, obviously, if you're gonna get rich out of your coffee shop that you're talking about, out of that one coffee shop, that means someone, if you're getting like rich, like you've just like made all this money, that means that the workers have produced something, that they're working, their value, what they're producing, that you're profiting off of, is high. They're making something that's making you money. But that means that they're not getting paid fairly, because if they were getting paid fairly in the terms of Marx, you wouldn't be making so much money, because they would make the value they're producing, they would get paid exactly what they're producing, which means what they're producing.
But no, like I think there's a huge leap that is happening. I don't think there's anything inherently
scammy about it.
No, I don't.
Well, I guess we should just leave it
But
at that.
but I do think that there are many businesses who do scam, and I think there are many corporations who do that. But I think that can exist in any type of society, because it's the intention. It's all, in my opinion, it's always about the intention.
I don't know why I quoted Marx. What did you talk about?
Okay, guys, hope you really liked that rambling sesh that we had. I think that we kind of just wanted to get together, chat. I think we did okay with staying on topic.
We covered some ground.
Yeah, we definitely did. As always, sound off in the comments below. Let us know what you think. Both of us are going to be watching the comments and really want to hear what you think about these topics, about class appropriation, cultural appropriation, and about Marx as well.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
But yeah, thank you, Ani, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And we will hopefully catch you another time. And you guys tune in for the next video. Bye!